This vid is going to show a solo GM getting platinum rank on the weekly featured Grandmaster, which is arms dealer this week. Now, I've already posted up, but that run was technically last week's variant. There's actually a new variant this week with a mod called Oscillation. So before I give comment on the gameplay, let's go over this mod Oscillation and tell you how to bypass it. Because yes, you can bypass the mod. Oscillation reads as follows. Dealing damage with scout rifles, pulse rifles, and grenade launchers, full stop. Just remember those 3 weapon types. Gradually reduces their damage while increasing the damage of a new bracket of weapons, SMG and shotguns. So those are 2 different types of weapons, 2 groups, shall we say. So say, for example, you had a scout and a pulse on, they don't work together for the buff, for the buff and debuff. So basically how Oscillation works is you get a 3 times buff for a weapon that you haven't dealt damage with, and a ×3 negative weapon decay debuff for a weapon that you have dealt damage with. It's roughly 1 to 2 mags per weapons, basically. But he also says this, other weapon types deal significantly less damage. So even if we try to not run the weapons it says, we still get penalized. So for example, I'm using Deterministic Chaos. It's a machine gun. It's still doing less damage than what it should. So the mod Oscillation is very harsh and wants you to run the weapons it says in the way that it wants you to. But I'm here to tell you that you basically can bypass the entire mod by using a Kinetic Tremors scout rifle, right, and a jolting feedback pulse. Both of these perks will bypass Oscillation. So basically Kinetic Tremors is independent damage value and it has nothing to do with Oscillation. Oscillation will only reduce your body shot and crit damage by ×3, which is a 35% debuff to your body shot and crit damage on weapons. But adverbs like incandescent and jolting feedback and all that stuff will be unaffected by Oscillation. Therefore, I can tell you a Kinetic Tremor Scout will actually be okay in this. It won't be as the same as normal, but it'd be very similar because with a scout rifle, they don't do any damage anyways. It's the kinetic tremor portion of damage that melts the red bars and the orange bars or whatever it might be. So you can effectively get away without having to do what Oscillation is telling you to do. You don't need to run an SMG. You don't need to run a shotgun, providing that you run a Kinetic Tremor Scout for barrier champs, or you can run Wishender. I done a run before earlier on my Titan with Wishender, and Wishender does not one-shot shields because it's hindered by Oscillation. It will not one-shot, but it will two-shot. You will get away with using Wishender for the most part. So if you want to do a Wishender run, you can. What I opted to do instead was use a weapon that has an inbuilt debuff to it to counter Oscillation. Because Deterministic Chaos, it's a barrier weapon, it adds volatile rounds, and it debuffs targets, which would claw back some of that 35% damage lost. Right? It's going to claw back some damage that we've lost via Oscillation, meaning the weapon's even more useful to us now than what it was anyways. Which it's a very useful weapon, is Deterministic Chaos. I showcased that in the Lightblade run, and I'll showcase it here again. When we are really penalised and we don't have access to debuff via, what was it, concussive reload, because GLs are part of the Oscillation thing, we don't use a debuff then via GL. We use our own via a different gun entirely, and we don't even use a GL. We use a Transcendence here because this is a potential wipe. These adds can wipe you as you jump over, depending on what bane it is. So we need to proc devour, and we need to have either a Transcendence used or super. In this case, I chose to use my Transcendence, and I got away with it. Because our only goal here is to deal with all these dogs and all these adds on this platform. That is it. The gladiators won't push. We don't want nothing to do with the gladiators. They don't need to be killed. I will kill the snipers, because I may as well. We're using double primary. This is hardly by any means a quick run, so I'm not bothered. We'll deal with the snipers. That gives us a vantage point. There's a joke in there, right? That gives us a vantage point on the barrier champ with our vantage point pulse rifle. See? So now we can deal with him from a range right here. We can proc radiant by our melee. We can throw a turret. I'm not going to throw a turret though, because I won't get my turret back. I want my turret in the next 20 seconds, so I'm not using it now. We'll use deterministic. Now, when you're using deterministic, please don't be put off by the gun because of its mag size. We can bypass mag size. It's mag size 48. That's low for the gun, and it's got no catalyst. How do we remedy it? It's very simple, Guardian. There's a little mod on your boots called Void Holster. This will steadily reloaded holstered weapons that are not a one-shot single use like GLs. It won't reload GLs, and it won't, special GLs, breech-loaded GLs, and it won't reload rockets. Everything else it'll reload. All right? So get used to using holster mods in GM. It allows you to store weapons and play more aggressive with your other weapons and then swap back to your machine gun without having to reload. Reloading in Destiny 2, if you cannot reload with a gun when you're in combat, do you realize how much uptime on your combatant, how much longer you're in the fight? You need to be in the fight longer. You need to be doing damage for longer. How can you do that? Just limit reloads on weapons that are bad. Machine guns have bad reloads. That's just how they work. Right? Now, yeah, there's perks on legendary machine guns to increase reloads and stuff, but we're using an exotic one and the reload's not that good on it. It's not the answer to run a void loader, right? Either. That's not gonna make absolute difference. What it is that we can cycle between kinetic tremor, jolt damage via pulse, and volatile with the machine gun, and do that on barriers. It makes it so much easier. Imagine having to try and reload via a champ and you miss the shield because you're reloading. If you had the holster, that ain't happening. And a champ's dead after about 50, 60 bullets. A champ's dead anyways after that. But yeah, holster mod, honestly, if you use this gun, you got to have holster mod. Screw your build. I don't care if you want such and such on your boots, elemental charge, whatever you want. You need the holster mod on when you're using this gun. But once you put it on, everything's good. We need to be careful of Thresher. The Thresher will melt. Threshers are OP in this. They are the hardest enemy type in this because basically they are unaffected by any sort of weapon perks. Like Kinetic Tremors do not work on Threshers. This is a problem. So we need to wait for Thresher. There's actually rotations in the game of Threshers. You need to learn Thresher rotation, as in ships. So see that Thresher, he's went round the corner. Well, I knew that he would because we already had that. We need to use a super. We haven't used one, so we're going to use it now. It's a good time to pop, but we cannot go around that corner. We cannot go around that corner. We will die. So our goal is to get super out. Super's done. We'll get a turret down as well. We may as well. And we'll, clean up any Colossus or any ads that are peeking around the corner, but once we've done with that, we're going to find an angle on the Thresher. We'll speed up Thresher footage so that, because it's just me dealing damage. Once you find an angle on a Thresher, the Thresher cannot hit you. You can deal damage to the Thresher. Now, your Scout, your Pulse, whatever prime you're using, are poor damage against Threshers. Deterministic Chaos, though, isn't. It actually does good damage to Thresher. Your melee does as well. But look, we can actually destroy the Thresher pretty well with the machine gun. So we want our heavy, whatever heavy we use, these are the goals I want from my heavy weapon. Number one, I want it to assist damage with champs. Number two, I want a good ag clear weapon in my heavy slot. Number three, I need a weapon in my loadout to melt Thresher reasonably good. If it's less than subpar, it's no good for the loadout because Threshers can wipe a run. So now that you know those goals, Deterministic fits all of them because we're using double primary, so we need an ag clear option on. Well, we use Determinist because it's a hybrid style weapon and it does have decent single target damage. It's got the debuff built into it. We're on a hard GM, which is Oscillation, Okay, it's more like an old school GM that I used to do back in the day. It's more like that. And it's just a case of it's filling many roles at once. We are solo. We need to tick boxes. It's a tick box exercise, this. Whenever you're thinking about a build, I know that some of you have some of the best build information in you, better than me at times with some people, with some of the comments I see that post to me, do this, do that. But some of you don't have the hindsight, and this is the problem. Some of you do, some of you don't. I'm not calling you. I'm just saying, first, GM, okay, or activity, think about that. Think about it in your mind from start to finish. What would that look like? Then look at the build. Don't look at the build, then the GM. You're getting it wrong. Look at the GM or the activity or the dungeon or whatever, or the raid first and say, right, what do I need? What's the tick box exercise? You go through the tick box exercise in your mind, or you write it down on a bit of paper. That'd be kind of weird, but whatever. Then you say, well, I need this, I need that. Well, what's good at all those boxes to tick? Oh, well, this loadout would be good. And then this loadout would be good. So think about GM first, build second, not build first, GM second, because if you do it that way around, you need to be more skilled at the GM. You need to know more about it. And chances are you don't know every single aspect, fine detail of the GM to then pull off some weird build like, I don't know, some funky Raiju Gathering Storm funky build that on paper, you might really, really want to do it, but then when you come to start doing the run, it starts to fail. Trust me, the amount of times over the years that I've had so many crazy ideas and I've been unfulfilled has been a long... there's been so many things I've wanted to do over the years with certain different things at certain different sandboxes in the game, and some of them have failed and I've never returned to them or can't do it anymore because that build doesn't exist or that weapon doesn't exist or whatever, So if you're going to do crazy ideas, you best know what you're doing with the GM to start with. You need the base knowledge. You need your foundation. Get your foundation first. Then you can start doing your crazy build ideas. But you need your foundational, on paper, right, what's required of me? Where are all the ad spawns? Have you memorized the ad spawns? Do you know how many champs there is? Do you know which champs, where to take, where the freshers are, where to take them, what angle? Once you know all those minute details, you can do what you want in the game. I've said this. Everything's possible in this game once you do damage. If damage is possible in a GM, anything is possible then. Anything at all. You can let your imagination run away with you. Anything's possible. It depends on how much patience you've got. That is the question. It's not, oh, well, is it viable? It will be viable. But it depends what we mean by viable. Viable assumes that it's going to be a build that most people can use. So then there's a grey line between viable build and non-viable build, and that's where, the sort of, it's not absolutely clear sometimes with some builds, and some builds it is, some builds it isn't. We need to shoot this gun off this ship. I told you in the last run about the ships. It's critical you take down the guns. You need to know. That is basic information what I'm telling you, by the way. You should know this before you even start this solo GM. That is the basic of the basic. Shooting down the guns of those freshers need to be done, lest you're going to wipe. If you go down there, even if you pop a super, you're dead off that gun. It's quick. All right? It's going to be instant. So you shoot the gun, then you operate with champs. That is it. We'll pop a transcendence because we're getting plenty of transcendences. So you're noticing how much transcendence energy I'm getting off this scout. It's quite a lot. It's not area denial GL style transcendence, but for a primary, it's damn good. All right? Because it's kinetic tremor damage. It's not so much the scout. There's nothing special about the scout. It's the kinetic tremors that's doing us the damage. If scouts did not have kinetic tremors, they would be in a lot of trouble, the archetype. Scouts will be in a massive problem in endgame. Kinetic tremors make them viable. Okay? They make them more than viable, basically. They are a meta within solo GM. Okay? If we were to look at solo GM meta, Kinetic Tremor Scouts this season are part of it because it frees up an exotic slot to use an exotic heavy, which is sometimes useful, or an exotic special, depending on what we're doing. It opens up loadouts as opposed to having to run Wish Ender. If you run Wish Ender, that's fine, you can run that, but then you've wasted your exotic slot, and a Kinetic Tremor Scout could have been all that you really needed in the end. I'm just giving you my thoughts on that. So, like I say, with the weapon damage decay, it's a 35% debuff, and we've got that on for the entire run. It's on for the entire run because we've got no pulls, so we've got no SMG, no shotgun, but we bypass the mod. It just means that you don't need to swap it. People are complaining about this mod. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say don't shoot the messenger. All right. I'm just here to show you this is how you can play around Oscillation. This is what you can do. This is what the situation is. You know, people want me to be teacher's pet. I can be a teacher's pet and just say, oh well, they've made this Oscillation mod. It's like an old school GM. Oh well, that's fine. I've done the old school GMs. I'm fine with it. I've done double primary heavy GMs. If that's what it takes, that's what we'll do. Not bothered. You know, I'm not going to complain too much and say, look at this stun. Look at the stun off the ads. I'm not going to complain too much about Oscillation and say, you know, they should remove it out of the game and all this sort of stuff. It is what it is. It's in the game. I thought it was a bug initially because we've got Chill Touch and we've got Oscillation. Now, last week it was only a Chill Touch, which is more than enough for one major modifier in a GM, I think. Chill Touch can ruin melee builds. It can almost ruin melee builds. So I thought that was more than enough. But again, we've got this extra mod. You play the cards that are dealt. Okay, whatever cards you've got, we just play it. All right, Oscillation's up. All right, GM's going to be longer. Okay, we'll just go with it. That's fine. There's no point me babbying and twining about it because other people can do that for me. You can do that. I'll leave it to you to do it. We're going to get a turret in mid. Now, I'm usually fight at top left for that Siren is, but I decided to fight in mid instead, and it wasn't that good because this sniper just keeps peeking me in and out, which was actually kind of annoying, to be honest. Look at this. It's the old King's Fall mechanic, if anyone knows what the King's Fall mechanic was. So when you were the guy with the buff and you had to shoot acolytes, if you would ADS, the acolyte would hide, but if you hip-fired the acolyte, he wouldn't hide, therefore keeping the buff longer for King's Fall. D1 specifically, that's the mod of the D1 I'm referencing. It's the same mechanic. When you ADS, a ad is more likely to go in and out of cover like that. So you've got to time your ADS, your aim down sight movement, as the sniper basically peaks. And because our scout's doing less damage, it's taken us longer to deal with little mini things like this, like just a damn Scion, like it just keeps peeking me in and out. That is a benefit to like what Wish Ender would do. It would one shot to two shot, because Wish Ender is getting the nerf as well because of this Oscillation thing. So we've got the worst Bane possible. It's a shield Bane. Okay, this was a bit of a problem as we couldn't deal with these mages, and the guy at the back, the Centurion, drops the orb. So it wasn't ideal. It means I've got to kill him first, which is not what I want to do. I want to kill the Ultras, then him. It's just how it worked out. So we can jolt him, look. So even though, yes, our pulse is not doing damage, it's adding damage to our heavy weapon. Because when we activate Volatile, we've got Volatile and Volt. So that's what's so good about this. Even though it is double primary, the thing about it is that it's bypassing Oscillation. That's a good thing, because Oscillation is difficult to play around, right? It's assisting damage, 3 different types of damage for each weapon. Kinetic Tremors, Energy, Volt, because it's Jolt and Feedback, and then Heavy, Debuff, and Volatile. That's a lot. So instead of relying on crit and body shot damage, we rely on perks to get our damage out. And I think it kind of works. The run's slow, obviously it is, but it would be slower than what would happen. Plus arms deal the way it is kind of a long GM. We use super here because what you need to realize is that these adds, when the tank spawns up, the adds will push you because they're more confident. The gladiators, the unstoppables, more confident. When the tank is destroyed, the adds back to the back up, left hand side at the back of the map. There's a problem with that because when we go to the back of the map, a barrier and more adds spawn in. We want to independently spawn that spawn away from this one. We can sort of help ourselves by doing that, by not killing the tank right away. All right. Now, that's dangerous for people. I understand it a little bit. What you just need to realize is just keep strafe and jumping left and right. It doesn't take no crazy PvP movement to do it. Just a case of do not stand in one position for too long. That's obvious, right? Just don't do that. And then you've got that movement nailed down and the tank won't kill you. If you're not confident enough with it, then just kill the tank first then if that is a problem to you. Because the tank can go down quick. You only need to break two wheels off the tank. Left and right. That is it. And the tank will be dead. So tank is very weak. You know, you could go over there and super him with Song of Flame. You could do that. I could have done that instead, but there was a Drain Bane there, and the exit point after after the Song of Flame would be difficult. We would have to super, then run away, and we would need super energy to get damage resist to escape. So it wouldn't be worth our time to super the tank in this case. Transcendence him, yes, probably. We could do that, but I end up using my transcendence on this next bit. But yeah, I probably could have used my transcendence on that tank. Definitely could have. I just didn't know exactly how many adds were up on this phase. But there's some. See, now the unstop's weak. There's just a bunch of snipers, which they are threatening. But if we can deal with them now before barrier comes out, then that's brilliant. We have isolated the barrier away from the unstop and the snipers because they're a problem when the barrier's up because then you're having to multitask adds. In long range GMs, try not to multitask adds if it becomes more of a risk factor to you. Now look at Kinetic Tremors doing damage. That's massive damage, by the way. For a weapon damage decay times 3, with Kinetic Tremors and still melting down the adds that quick, that's so good, man. This is absolutely the strat. It is the strat. I did a Wish Ender run, and I think this is better than Wish Ender just because of it doesn't take up your exotic slot, so you can run something else. I could have run other weapons. I could have run Levy Breath. You know, it's hard to think what I would use exactly because you got that debuff, so I don't know how good like an exotic rocket launcher would be, for example, in this, and would it be worth it? I did use Royal Entry before, and it was terrible. Royal Entry was absolutely terrible in this. I couldn't believe how bad it was. It was really bad. So I was like, I don't fancy doing rockets. So that's what gave me the idea of the machine gun. Because, you know, it's not nerfing it that much as opposed to maybe a rocket. Because rocket isn't really ammo economy wise. I don't know what Galley would do in this. I don't know what surges it's Arc and Void Surge. So I'm not really 100%. I mean, you could use Thunderlord. That would be interesting to see how good that would be. But bear in mind, with Thunderlord, it's a overload weapon, not a barrier one. It would play a similar role to Deterministic, but it does not have any built-in debuff. And we need more damage. We have lost the damage. We need to recuperate it. We can do that by using its debuff. So we're killing these adds. We've killed the unstop. We're isolating adds away from each other. The spawn trigger is this. Push to the door. And, oh no, we've done that before, sorry. We've done that before, didn't we, with the Transcendence. So I'm behind there with the commentary. So but we did isolate the barrier away from the unstop, so that's good. Activate the thing. We're going to get a turret down behind us because there's dogs. See, I put a turret here because it'll fulfill add clear on dogs and the adds that are about to come out, because with the Rhymecoat chestplate we've got more range on the turret, so it'll just help us out. Plus we're going to get another turret very soon anyway, so look, we're still getting the turret working for us. We've got Transcendence to pop, and we do have Super to pop, but bear in mind with Tormentor, okay, our damage is immune, only crit damage is viable on the shoulder plates. Kinetic Tremors will hit immune numbers, for example. Your only damage is crit damage. Now, Deterministic is very good on Tormentor. You'll see the damage it puts in. I'm trying to sell you this weapon. I'm in a Deterministic Chaos garage. I'm in a Deterministic Chaos car garage trying to sell you this damn machine gun. Look, and you'll see in a minute. Just keep watching the amount of damage we do to Tormentor in a minute. Okay, so we get another turret up. This will also be another dual purpose turret because it's going to help us with dogs. They spawn up after so long when you do chip damage to Tormentor. Then we can then stun Tormentor. We're coming all the way back here. We got hit quite hard there with the Void. That was more than I expected. We'll do crit to shoulder plate to enrage Tormentor. That's when we do our damage. Don't spend your big stuff on Tormentor until you've broken both plates, shoulder plates. Right, then obviously he takes good crit damage, but your area of effect stuff can be done when obviously the two shoulder plates are taken off. So now we can start doing freeze damage and transcendence damage, etc, etc. So here we go. Get a turret down, we freeze. We've got Radiant. We're going to pop our Transcendence because may as well just pop it now. Then we use a Deterministic. Now we're getting pressured here a little bit from the snipers. I'm strafing left and right because I forgot that the snipers spawn on this phase because I was so involved romantically with the Tormentor damage that I was off. Damn, the snipers spawned. So I couldn't do as much Transcendence damage as I wanted. But look, he's nearly finishable. This Tormentor is not a boss Tormentor. He's a major Tormentor. Therefore, you can shackle him. You can freeze him properly. Whereas boss Tormentors, you cannot. I.e. the one from Neo Mooner Strike. That is a boss Tormentor. And he's more difficult than this one. Your goal is just simple. Get him finishable. I could have popped Super. Finish him off quicker. But he's done. By the time I start to think about popping a Super on him, he's done. Ammo, you should be looking for it, but I have a Drain Bane, so I'm going to skip. I ended up skipping. Our ammo's palatable. We've got more than half ammo. So I was like, you know what, rather than have to deal with that Drain Bane, which is already taking up my time, no, we'll just go to the next room. That's no problem, because this phase does not require much heavy. If anything, we're looking to get a brick or two, so that we go to the boss fight with full heavy. We always want to look at trying to get full heavy at the boss fight. It's always a nice thing because it gives you liberty of being able to spam more ammo at the boss fight. We get a turret down here to kill his turrets. Yes, we do that. Freezing enemies. That's good. And now we're going to deal with the ads below. I've got a Super to pop. I may as well pop it on Unstop. I think I do. We need to take down these Phalanxes. One of the Phalanxes is a Bane, usually the one in the corner, from my experience. We'll get a stop on him. To be honest, I could have done more here, but the goal is simple. Just kill Unstop in Super. Don't waste any heavy. That is the only goal. So basically, our Super is allowing us to be more economical about our heavy. So look, the damage. I know that you can do more damage with just doing the melee, but we just want to melt him down quicker. We're not bothered about like just doing the melee and stuff. We just want to melt him with a Super and that's it, and waste no heavy. That was the goal. We have mini goals as we go throughout this, depending on ammo and stuff. We adjust for it. Now we'll stand over here. I'm going to show you a good place to take this down. Really, really nice. So look, we can get a Radiant. Now look at the damage we're doing from here with Deterministic. That's crazy that it's doing that much damage because weapons of this nature have range drop off. And Deterministic does have range, but look at that. That's nerfed damage. That is crazy insane damage for where we were standing with the debuff of Oscillation, which yes, it is debuff fire of Oscillation. All weapons are debuff fire, like I explained at the start of the video. Any weapon you use other than what it states is debuffed by Oscillation. So that was really good. Now we'll push up now because we're going to... Oh, we forgot turret left. I always forget this turret. See, this turret's always on the left-hand side and I often forget. So I stopped melting champ, which I would have killed him easily there. The reason being is because this turret was pressuring us, so we sort of slackened off with that. So we'll start working on him again. We're going to use a Transcendence here because we may as well. We've got it to pop. We haven't got it for anything, so we may as well just use it because we're going to get it back anyways with Kinetic Tremors. So look at the shield break with Kinetic Tremors. Really good. Now ammo I'm not wanting to use. I'm at 159 and I believe I've got 1 brick so far. And it's an ammo finder one as well. If you took note, it was just an ammo finder one. I believe at least. The nades is what you want to look out for. See that? The solar resist helping us out massively. Without solar resist, these nades kill you quick. If a nade attaches to you, they can stick to you, the Cabal nades. So you've got to be careful about that. So look, we've got 1 brick. See? Ammo finder, only plus 28, like I said to you. That's another thing. Keep a note on ammo drops, whether they're ammo finder ones or full bricks. The ammo finder ones are more shiny, they're more colourful. Whereas a full brick's less, it's just a full solid colour more so. That's the difference between full brick and an ammo finder. So, yeah, I got a brick, but look, it's only 28. So it's no big deal. I'm still lowish on heavy. So, we get a turret down here. We are going to just basically clear out all the ads, isolate the unstop away from the ads, of course, from the champ. And out to the champ, so we can just basically do damage with our turret. Our goal is to just not use heavy at the minute, just do Kinetic Tremors and jolt damage. Get him finishable. Right, he's nearly dead now anyways, to be honest. We'll get a weapon kill on him instead of the finisher, because there's a higher chances of getting a brick as opposed to finishing him. Look, there you go. There's the science. Look, I've got a crystal ball. Look, hello there, little unstoppable stroke on your head. Can you please give me a heavy brick? There you go, he gives me it. And he behaved himself because I give him what he wanted, and that was weapon damage. If I'd finisher killed him, I bet you I wouldn't have got a brick there. And that's helped me out, because now I feel better about myself. 291 ammo, that's good. We can forget about heavy now and start to think about what we're doing with this run. So we want to back all the way to the back of the map. Turrets have range drop off. We'll get a turret, our own turret down, of course. And then look, the turrets close up. See that? They close up. They've got a range drop off, just like your guns. See, what interests me about people is that everyone's interested about guns with the range, effective range, but no one's worried about effective range of combatants. Right? Nobody seems to second guess what a Cabal Legionnaire's arc shock attack is range wise, or they don't know the range meterage of a sniper. Is it 50 meters? Is it 60 meters? Well, there's nowhere in the game that tells us this, but there is a meterage on it because I've abused that mechanic for years. If you fight 50, 60 meters away from a sniper, that sniper cannot snipe you. So the ad has no combatant power over you then. You can melt him, but he can't melt you. If you fight that far back. Now, some GMs, you can't fight that far back. Some you can. But I'm just saying, I just find it very interesting that everyone's interested in your build and you, but nobody's interested in enemies anymore. Nobody's interested in what are the enemies like. I think if you can think like a Cabal, you can beat one. That's the advice. So we need to do edge damage to this boss, which we've just done that. Look at the edge damage. Chip damage, I call it. But for Americans, they won't understand what chip means. They might think it's Doritos. It's nothing to do with Doritos. Chips are potatoes. They're not. They're fries. Chips are fries. They're not Doritos. Simple. So we need to do damage. We've done damage with machine gun. Boss has teleported. We need to back up, put a turret down, and then super. That's exactly what this is for. This means we can deal with all the ads with Devour and damage resist. If the boss snipes us, no big deal. We've got everything to deal with him, look. That's it. That's all adds melted. And now our secondary goal is to get to safety, which is here. Why? Because he cannot shoot below here. He can only shoot in front of him. So we have worked him against him on his tower. It means we can kill any adds, but we've isolated the adds away from the boss. Simply by just standing where he is, but underneath. So it's a positioning thing, this. Now, the boss has forgotten where we are. Now, I need to do damage to send him because I have not sent him yet. I recommend you do not send him. When I say send, I mean commit to the next phase. We're not doing that. We're going to commit now because all adds are killed. Do not do it until all adds are killed. This is a consistent way of doing this boss. If you spawn in all adds at once, it's just higher chance of you dying if you don't know what you're doing. It's as simple as that. On phase 2, we need to get here as soon as, because there's a ship coming. A fresher ship coming with a gun. We need to get out of it because the fresher will kill us. So this is where you stand. Now, we don't have super, but we do have a transcendence, which is good enough, I think, for this. We don't have to super the adds here. It'd be nice if I had a super, but I've just used it. And I think the super pop we just did was justified. So, yeah, I think that's fine. We can use Transcendence, get some Devour going, and we can clear out, I would say try and clear out most of the adds. But you won't clear them all out until that gun's taken off. You need to shoot that gun off that fresher. That's what we're waiting on now. Now, I was trying with the scout, but what I ended up doing in the end is actually using the machine gun. You need to get the right angle. So there, look, there's the angle. We're not getting any numbers, but we are damaging the turret, the gun. You can do damage when it rotates, so the fresher or the ship has a rotation. I don't know why it's so foggy on this GM. Look at the fog. That fog's ridiculous. I can't see a thing. I don't know why it's so foggy like that. That's just... I think that's just a hindrance. It's not like, you know, oh, look, you can't see. What a surprise in a GM. It shouldn't be foggy like that. You should be able to see where you shoot. So look, it's taken too many shots with the scout. There you go. LMG takes it off. So I should have just spammed LMG from the get-go. But that's fine. Okay, get another turret up. We'll clear out the remaining adds. It could be a Bane. It could be Gladiators. Generally, it's Gladiators. Gladiators like to hide. The goal on this run, as opposed to Titan run, is slightly different. We are going to kill the Centurion twice, and it's worth to do it to kill him twice. Now you're going to ask, well, why would you kill him twice when you can kill him once? It's simple, because when he is alive, when he dies, he spawns the relic. As you pick up relic, as you kill him, the ship spawns in enemies. Now, Duncan relic plus dealing with these adds can be a wipe. Now look at that. It's a shield Bane as well. So instead of risking our lives like that to go for the dunk and then die to adds, unless we had a super, fair enough, we could do that. We just opted to do this instead. It means when the orb despawns, you've got to kill another guy. But I think we just use a super to kill him anyways, because we end up using a super. So yeah, on my Titan run, I went invis, didn't I? Well, I can't go invis on this. I haven't got invis on this Prismatic Warlock in that sense. So I've got a class item with it on. But I'm recommending the chest plate because barriers are the problem in this, not so much going invis. You can get round the orb. We pop a super here just in case because my nade was not killing those adds quick enough. So we had to pop Transcendence plus super to save the run. It's not the end of the world because we actually are able to kill this guy again for free, which otherwise we would have had to use Kinetic Tremors and that would have been slow. You know, instead we've got him killed for free. So you kill him twice. I think it's worth it. I do, because now you can dunk the orb in peace if you're not on a build that has invis, or if you're not confident on dunking that orb when adds around, because they melt quick. If there's 5 or 6 legendaries shooting you, you will die as you dunk orb. Definitely. If they're all fixated on you like that. Right. Now we come to this next phase. So it gets... This phase is really hard, really easy. Phase 2 is really easy. Okay, so now we stand back here. There's going to be a dog wave and some cabal. Our goal right now is to do some chip damage to turrets, keep an eye on dogs, and the boss. The boss is going to keep sniping us. Obviously, we are two-shot. We can be two-shot by the boss, so we've got to be careful of that. We'll get a turret down here because dogs are coming. It's a good time to do it. Just note when you push, make sure you got Devour or something proc, because if that boss snipes you, you better get a cleanup kill with Devour to get your regen back, your health that is, because it can be threatening with him, because he seems to fixate on you like, look, that's nearly a death there. Do you see it? See what I mean? He could two-shot you very easily. Slight mistake, it can be done. After 42 minutes and 24 seconds, could be done. So generally, it's not worth it where the boss can see you. Try to go in middle. Middle's better. Middle, he can't see you as much because there's more cover in mid. So if you're dealing with dogs, go in mid. Don't go on the outskirts like that. So now we're just generating Transcendence and Super Energy, really. We Kinetic Tremors and sending the boss. See, there's another phase happening now. So we're going to get another wave of dogs and there'll be another wave of Cabal. We don't want to send the boss, i.e. go to phase 3 yet. We have the opportunity to do it. We can do it. Deterministic can melt him down very quickly if we choose to, but we're not going to because we want to take out turrets and prep the room. This GM is all about preparations, all right? If you can prep each phase and isolate each phase from each other, like this wave from the next wave and from the fresher phase, so on and so forth, it just makes the whole thing smoother. The run's longer as a result because you're baby stepping each phase, but you're still getting your clear and you're still getting your loot. So if you haven't done your arms dealer yet, which you probably should have done it last week, it was easier last week than now. Not that it's super duper difficult. Once I realized, oh, Kinetic Tremors bypasses the mod, you know, this GM's not that tough. It's just that it's slower. I would say in terms of difficulty, because of the 35% debuff on us at all times, basically, I would say that the GM is probably 7 out of 10 in difficulty for me. It's a 7 out of 10. I think for some players who have never done GMs, you're going to find this quite difficult. It's more of a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 difficulty for you. But I already had the knowledge of the spawns, so all that stuff's obviously in my favour. You know, I know what to do, where to be, and that's it. I'm familiar. I'm really familiar with Arms Dealer. You know, obviously we've sold this before, so that's the thing. So I do think it's not too bad. If Kinetic Tremors wasn't working, then this run would have been a nightmare. I would have used Wish Ender. I would have had to, really. But because Kinetic Tremors has come in clutch, then we're all right. The run's fine. That's the difference maker. Literally, it's as simple as that. So we need to kill Fresher. We need to do this. Now, look, we've got a Drain Bane to our right. We need to go plan B. Always have a plan B. Look, this is plan B. There's your plan B. Some people say, oh, don't have a plan B. You just need to commit to plan A. Absolutely not true at all. You have a plan A and commit to it, but if plan A does not work, you need a plan B unless you're going to orbit, mate. So which one is it? You either have both two plans for whatever engagement that you're doing at all. It's all about plans A and B. If you've got a plan B, that is. In this case, we needed a plan B because we were dead there. If we had to deal with that Drain Bane plus Fresher and we're in the wrong positioning, we're dead. It's as quick as 3 seconds and you're dead. It really is as quick as that. I know it doesn't seem like it in the video and things seem relaxed and chill, and they are, don't get me wrong, but I was worried a little bit about this Drain Bane, especially on Fresher phase. Deterministic showed up for me. It allowed me to melt down the Fresher quick enough. I think with maybe a rocket launcher, it wouldn't have melted the Fresher quick enough for me. Okay, I would have had to spam a few rockets because I used Royal Entry before this, which is a Void rocket, by the way. It's getting the Void Surge buff. It takes like 7 rockets to kill a Fresher. 7 rockets. Deterministic will do it in 2 mags. What's, you decide. Do you want to do 7 rockets, which is more than 50% of your ammo, or do you want to do, I don't know, a quarter of your ammo or a third of your ammo with deterministic? You see what I'm saying? It's also good when you want to step up in gears. See, that's another thing with GMs, which I'm not trolling you at all with this. This is absolutely critical advice, and I recommend that you listen to this bit because it's very important. When we're playing between offensive and defensive play, we have gears like a car, right? You don't need to play at 6 gear the entire time. Now, on Prismatic Titan, you kind of want to, because that's the nature of the build. But on a Warlock, it's not exactly long. It's not exactly a CQC build, and it's not exactly a long range build either. It's in between. So Golden Gun is a long range build. Prismatic Titan is a close quarter build. Warlock's in the middle of the two because he can be operated relatively well at both long range and close range. But you can step your foot off the gas with the Warlock and your build still works because your turret has range. So when you need to step off, right, on DPS and stuff, you can do that. But with the machine gun, getting back to the point, if we need to operate at 6 gear or at a faster ad clear spree, deterministic allows us to do that. Whereas if I ran Leviathan's Breath, for example, which is a utility exotic like deterministic, but it has unstoppable rather than barrier, this wouldn't have worked as well in the run because Leviathan's Breath does champ well, it does boss damage well, but it doesn't do ad clear well because it's not designed for that. It's a heavy compact bow that feels very slow, but that's not the identity of the gun. I'm just trying to, like I say, sell you this deterministic chaos that it's hitting more tick boxes than what Leviathan's is because it can also do really good ad clear when we need to. Or, a little burst damage here, there, and debuff. So, final phase. We don't want to pop anything, Transcendence or Super. You want to save all your stuff. This particular phase, look at the port. You've got to be careful of him. So if he's aggroed on you like this, you need to run round the map. Do not overcommit to damage. Brackus will melt you on this phase. He does not have sniper. He has the arc shotgun on. He's got Legend of Acreus. So we need to do our damage until tanks. We need to stand here. Look, tank spawns in. Look at where we've got. We've got this nice little fence. I know it's not a fence, but hey, it's cover. And we can pop Transcendence and we're safe on turret phase. You see what I'm saying? So that's just been dealt with. There's a turret here. I always forget about this turret. It's just been dealt with, right? So if there was any problems with turret and they start melting me down, I've got Devour. So having a Transcendence there, whilst not absolutely critical, it's nice to have because we don't need it now for anything because now we're going to melt the boss down. But we need to make sure that we set that up. We need to gauge and do chip damage and then go into our higher gear and then melt. So we'll operate at like a 2nd gear, and then when we get the boss HP so far down, pop Song of Flame and then hope that you melt the boss in time. As long as you've done enough edging HP wise on the boss, you will melt the boss in Song of Flame. You just need to time it right. So for example, right now we're timing it. Turrets will spawn. We want to skip the turret phase. There's another wave of turrets and snipers. We don't want to do any of that. We just want to melt him with super. Which you can, but you need to stand here. Look, this is why we're standing here, because when turrets spawn in, right, then we're in safety. But what I decided is, right, I'm going to get a turret up now because I'm about to. I think I have a facet courage on. I'm pretty sure I have. I'm about to go and do my Transcendence. So I'm going to do some damage here. I think we get weakened. I'm not 100%. But we're doing our deterministic with our Song of Flame. And look, you can melt him down pretty nicely at the end there. That was a solo GM on this. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.